I, 28F, never thought I'd be in this situation, but here I am. My sister Nicole, 32F, has always been the golden child in our family. Growing up, she was the popular one, the pretty one, the one who always got what she wanted. I learned to live with it, but it wasn't easy. Our childhood was filled with instances of Nicole overshadowing me. When I won my first spelling bee in 3rd grade, Nicole got the lead in the school play the same week. My parents missed my spelling bee to attend her rehearsal. When I graduated high school with honors, Nicole announced she'd been accepted into an Ivy League college. Even my achievements felt hollow in comparison to hers. This dynamic continued into our adult lives. When I got my first promotion at work, Nicole landed a prestigious job at a Fortune 500 company. When I bought my first car, Nicole bought a house. It always felt like I was one step behind, always in her shadow. Despite all this, I tried to maintain a good relationship with Nicole. We'd meet for coffee every few weeks, and I'd listen to her talk about her latest accomplishments. I told myself that it wasn't a competition, that I should be happy for my sister's success. But deep down, it always stung. When I met Alex, 30M, 3 years ago, I finally felt like I had something that was just mine. We met at a local book club. I'd always loved reading, but never had much time for it with my busy job. Alex was new in town, a software engineer who'd moved here for work. He was kind, funny, and most importantly, he saw me for who I was, not as Nicole's little sister. Our relationship progressed quickly. Within 6 months, we'd moved in together. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was on equal footing with Nicole. I had a great job, a wonderful boyfriend, and a life I was proud of. When Alex proposed last year, I was over the moon. Finally, I thought, I'd have my moment in the spotlight. Planning the wedding was a whirlwind. I asked Nicole to be my maid of honor, partly because I genuinely wanted her there, and partly because I knew my parents would expect it. Nicole seemed excited, offering to help with everything from dress shopping to choosing the venue. As the big day approached, my friends decided to throw me a bachelorette party. It wasn't anything crazy, just a night out with my closest friends and Nicole. We went to a nice restaurant, one of those fancy places where you need to make reservations months in advance. I felt special, surrounded by people who were there just for me. We were halfway through the main course when Nicole suddenly stood up and clinked her glass. The restaurant quieted down, and all eyes turned at her. I thought she was going to make a toast, maybe share a cute story about us growing up. Instead, she announced that she was pregnant. The room erupted in cheers and congratulations. Everyone was hugging her and asking questions about the baby. How far along was she? Did she know the gender yet? Had she thought of names? I sat there, stunned, my half-eaten meal growing cold in front of me. My bachelorette party, the one night that was supposed to be about me, and she had to make it about herself. Again. I tried to keep my cool, plastering a smile on my face as I hugged her and offered my congratulations. But inside, I was seething. The rest of the night was a blur. My friends tried to bring the focus back to me in the wedding, but it was too late. Nicole's pregnancy was all anyone could talk about. By the time we left the restaurant, I felt deflated and angry. When we got home, I confronted Nicole. I asked her why she couldn't have waited until after the wedding to share her news. She got defensive, saying she was excited and wanted to share it with everyone. We argued, voices rising as years of pent-up frustration came pouring out. "You always do this," I shouted. "Every time I have something good in my life, you have to one-up me." Nicole looked shocked. "What are you talking about? I thought you'd be happy for me." "Happy? How can I be happy when you've ruined my bachelorette party? This was supposed to be my night, Nicole. For once in my life, I wanted the attention to be on me." The argument escalated from there. Nicole accused me of being selfish and immature. I accused her of being attention-seeking and inconsiderate. It all came to a head when I told her that if she couldn't let me have one day to myself, then maybe she shouldn't come to the wedding at all. Nicole left in tears, and now our family is in chaos. Our parents are furious with me, saying I'm being selfish and that family is more important than a silly party. Dad called me the next day, his voice gruff with disappointment. "Your sister is carrying your future niece or nephew," he said. "How can you be so cold?" My friends are split, some think I overreacted, while others understand why I'm upset. My best friend, Lily, told me she gets why I'm angry but thinks banning Nicole from the wedding is going too far. "You'll regret it if she's not there," she warned. Alex is trying to be supportive, but I can tell he's uncomfortable with the whole situation. He comes from a close-knit family and doesn't really understand the complicated dynamics between Nicole and me. He suggested that maybe we could all sit down and talk it out, but the thought of facing Nicole and my parents right now makes me feel sick. The wedding is in 2 months, and I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to stick to my guns and keep Nicole out of the wedding. After all, this is supposed to be my special day, and I'm tired of her stealing the spotlight. But another part feels guilty for causing so much drama. Am I really willing to create a rift in my family over this? I've always prided myself on being the rational one, the peacekeeper. But now I find myself at the center of a family feud, and I'm not sure how to fix it. The stress is starting to affect other aspects of my life. I'm having trouble sleeping, and I've been distracted at work. My boss even pulled me aside yesterday to ask if everything was okay. I'm starting to wonder if I'm overreacting. Maybe I should just swallow my pride and apologize to Nicole. But every time I think about doing that, I remember all the times she's overshadowed me, all the times I've had to play second fiddle. Is it so wrong to want one day that's just about me? The invitations have been sent, the venue booked, the dress altered. Everything is ready for what's supposed to be the happiest day of my life. But instead of feeling excited, I'm filled with dread. Will I be able to enjoy my wedding day knowing that I've caused this rift in my family? Or will I regret it forever if Nicole isn't there? I never thought I'd be asking strangers on the internet for advice about my wedding, but here I am. Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out of my wedding over this? Should I stand my ground or try to make amends? I'm lost and could really use some outside perspective. Update 1, it's been a week since my last post, and things have only gotten more complicated. I want to thank everyone for their comments and advice. It's given me a lot to think about. After reading your responses, I realized I needed to have a calm, honest conversation with Nicole. I invited her over to talk things out. At first, it was tense. We both had our guards up, ready for another fight. But as we started talking, something changed. Nicole broke down and admitted that she'd been struggling with infertility for years. She and her husband Tom, 34M, had been trying to conceive for the past 3 years with no success. This pregnancy was unexpected and felt like a miracle to her. She said she announced it at my bachelorette party because she was overwhelmed with emotion and wasn't thinking clearly. I felt terrible. All this time, I'd been so focused on my own feelings that I never considered what Nicole might be going through. We cried together, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was really connecting with my sister. We talked for hours, bringing up old hurts and misunderstandings. Nicole admitted that she often felt pressure to be perfect because our parents always compared us. She said she never realized how much it had affected me. As we delved deeper into our childhood memories, Nicole revealed something that shocked me. She said that when I won that spelling bee in 3rd grade, she had deliberately gotten the lead in the school play to make our parents proud. She thought that if she didn't constantly achieve, our parents would be disappointed in her. This revelation made me see our entire childhood in a new light. All those times I thought Nicole was trying to overshadow me, she was actually trying to live up to impossible standards set by our parents. It didn't excuse her behavior, but it helped me understand it better. We talked about the Ivy League college incident too. Nicole confessed that she had been terrified of not getting in, and when she did, her excitement overtook everything else. She said she regretted not celebrating my high school graduation properly. As for her job at the Fortune 500 company, Nicole admitted that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. The hours were grueling, the stress was overwhelming, and she often felt like she was sacrificing her personal life for her career. She said she envied the balance I had managed to achieve in my life. By the end of our conversation, we both apologized and agreed to work on our relationship. I told Nicole that of course she could come to the wedding. We even talked about her being my matron of honor, as we'd originally planned. Everything seemed to be looking up. We started making plans for the wedding again, talking about her matron of honor speech and how we could incorporate her pregnancy into the celebration without overshadowing the main event. For the first time in years, I felt like I had my sister back. But then came the bombshell. As Nicole was leaving, she casually mentioned that she'd invited our estranged Aunt Linda, 55F, to the wedding. Aunt Linda and our mom had a huge falling out years ago over some family property, and they haven't spoken since. Mom always said she'd never be in the same room as Linda again. The story behind the fallout is complicated. Aunt Linda and Mom inherited our grandparents' beach house when they passed away. Mom wanted to keep it in the family as a vacation home, but Aunt Linda wanted to sell it and split the money. They argued about it for months, each accusing the other of being greedy and disrespecting our grandparents' memory. The situation came to a head when Aunt Linda put the house on the market without telling Mom. When Mom found out, she was furious. She accused Aunt Linda of going behind her back and betraying her trust. Aunt Linda argued that she had every right to sell her half of the property. The argument got so heated that they stopped speaking to each other altogether. The beach house ended up being sold, but the damage to their relationship was already done. That was 10 years ago, and they haven't spoken since. Every family gathering since then has been divided, with people having to choose which sister to invite. Now I'm faced with a new dilemma. Do I uninvite Aunt Linda and risk starting a new fight with Nicole? Do I keep quiet and deal with the inevitable drama when Mom sees Linda at the wedding? Or do I confront Nicole about overstepping her boundaries once again? I thought everything was resolved, but now I feel like I'm back at square one. The wedding is getting closer, and the stress is really starting to get to me. Alex has been incredibly supportive through all of this, but I can tell it's wearing on him too. He suggested we elope, only half-jokingly. Part of me is tempted to take him up on that offer. It would certainly solve a lot of problems. But another part of me has been dreaming of this wedding for so long, I don't want to give it up because of family drama. I'm also worried about how this will affect my relationship with Nicole going forward. We just had this breakthrough, and I don't want to jeopardize our newfound understanding. But at the same time, I can't believe she would invite Aunt Linda without discussing it with me first. I'm torn between my desire for family harmony and my need to have some control over my own wedding. I know I need to make a decision soon, but I'm paralyzed by indecision. Every choice seems like it will lead to more drama and hurt feelings. I'll keep you all updated on what happens next. Any advice on how to handle this new wrinkle would be greatly appreciated. Update 2. Things have taken an unexpected turn, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. After my last update, I decided to talk to Nicole about inviting Aunt Linda. I wanted to handle it calmly and rationally, to avoid another blow-up. I invited Nicole over again, and we sat down to talk. I explained that while I appreciated her trying to bring the family together, inviting Aunt Linda without consulting me or our parents wasn't okay. Nicole listened, and to my surprise, she agreed. She apologized and offered to call Aunt Linda to uninvite her. Just as I thought we'd resolved another issue, my mom called. She was crying and upset. Apparently, Aunt Linda had already called her to say how excited she was about coming to the wedding and reconnecting with the family. Mom was furious, accusing me of going behind her back and trying to ambush her at my own wedding. I tried to explain that it was all a misunderstanding, that Nicole had invited Aunt Linda without telling me, and that we were going to uninvite her. But Mom wouldn't listen. She said if Aunt Linda was coming, she and Dad wouldn't attend the wedding. I was stunned. My own parents were threatening to skip my wedding over this. I told Mom I'd sort it out and call her back, but inside, I was reeling. After Mom hung up, Nicole and I sat in silence for a while. Then Nicole surprised me again. She suggested that maybe this was an opportunity to heal our family. She pointed out that it had been years since the original fight, and maybe it was time to move past it. As we discussed the possibility, Nicole shared some information that shed new light on the situation. Apparently, she had been in touch with Aunt Linda over the years, keeping her updated on family news. Aunt Linda had expressed regret over the falling out with Mom and had been looking for a way to reconcile. Nicole also revealed that the beach house situation wasn't as black and white as we'd been led to believe. According to Aunt Linda, she had wanted to sell the house because she was in financial trouble at the time. She had lost her job and was struggling to make ends meet, but she had been too proud to tell Mom about her problems. This new information made me see the whole situation differently. What if this wedding could be an opportunity for healing, not just for Nicole and me, but for our entire family? I didn't know what to think. On one hand, the idea of having our whole family together for my wedding was appealing. On the other hand, I was terrified of the potential drama and the risk of my parents not showing up. Alex came home in the middle of this discussion. When we filled him in, he had an interesting perspective. He suggested that we invite both Aunt Linda and our parents, but seat them far apart and have a few trusted friends or relatives run interference to prevent any confrontations. He also proposed the idea of having a family meeting before the wedding, with a neutral third party present to mediate. This way, Mom and Aunt Linda could potentially clear the air without the added pressure of it being at the actual wedding. Now I'm torn. Do I try to reunite the family and risk ruining my wedding day? Do I uninvite Aunt Linda and deal with Nicole's disappointment? Or do I put my foot down and tell everyone to leave their drama at home? I decided to sleep on it before making any decisions. The next day, I called my dad to get his perspective. To my surprise, he was more open to the idea of reconciliation than Mom had been. He admitted that he missed his sister-in-law and thought that 10 years was a long time to hold a grudge. This conversation gave me hope that maybe, just maybe, we could make this work. But I'm still nervous about how Mom will react. She can be stubborn when she feels she's been wronged, and I'm worried that she'll dig her heels and even more if she feels like everyone is ganging up on her. The wedding is now just a month away, and instead of feeling excited, I'm feeling overwhelmed and anxious. I never wanted my wedding to be the stage for a family reunion drama. I always imagined it would be a day of love and celebration, not a potential powder keg of family tensions. I'm going to take a few days to think everything over before making a final decision. I want to talk to Alex more about it too. After all, this is his wedding as well, and I want to make sure he's comfortable with whatever we decide. I'll update again once I've made a decision. Wish me luck, I have a feeling I'm going to need it. Update 3, well, the wedding happened, and it was eventful, to say the least. After much deliberation, Alex and I decided to invite both Aunt Linda and our parents. We figured it was better to give everyone the choice to attend rather than make the decision for them. The week leading up to the wedding was tense. Mom refused to talk to me, communicating only through Dad. Nicole was walking on eggshells, afraid of causing any more drama. I was a bundle of nerves, alternating between excitement for my big day and dread about the potential family showdown. The ceremony itself was beautiful. I managed to push all the family drama out of my mind and focus on marrying the love of my life. Alex looked handsome in his suit, and when we said our vows, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. For those precious moments, all the stress and worry melted away. The reception, however, was where things got interesting. We had seated Aunt Linda and my parents on opposite sides of the room, with trusted friends keeping an eye on both parties. For a while, it seemed like our plan was working. Mom steadfastly ignored Aunt Linda's presence, while Aunt Linda seemed content to catch up with other relatives she hadn't seen in years. But then, during the speeches, Nicole stood up to give her matron of honor toast. She started talking about family and forgiveness, and how happy she was that everyone could be there to celebrate. I saw my mom tense up, and I knew what was coming. Before Nicole could finish, Mom stood up and started yelling about how dare she try to manipulate everyone like this. Aunt Linda, never one to back down from a fight, jumped in to defend Nicole. Soon, they were both shouting across the room, airing decades of dirty laundry in front of all our guests. Alex's family looked horrified. My friends were trying to calm everyone down. And me? I just sat there, watching my worst fears come to life. All I could think was, I should have eloped. Finally, Alex stood up and in a voice I'd never heard him use before, told everyone to sit down and be quiet. He said that this was our wedding day, and if anyone had a problem with that, they could leave. To my surprise, it worked. Both Mom and Aunt Linda sat down, looking embarrassed. The rest of the reception was tense, but at least there were no more outbursts. Nicole apologized profusely, saying she never meant for any of this to happen. I believe her, but I'm still upset that our big day was marred by family drama. Surprisingly, something good did come out of this disaster. The next day, Mom and Aunt Linda met for coffee. I don't know what was said, but they emerged after 2 hours looking tired but relieved. They're not best friends again, but at least they're talking. It's a start. Alex and I left for our honeymoon the day after, grateful to get away from it all. We spent 2 blissful weeks in Bali, far from family drama and wedding stress. It was exactly what we needed to reconnect and remember why we got married in the first place. Now that we're back, I'm not sure where to go from here. Mom isn't speaking to me or Nicole, still upset about the whole situation. Aunt Linda keeps trying to arrange family therapy sessions, which Mom flatly refuses to attend. Dad is stuck in the middle, trying to keep the peace. I'm exhausted from it all. I love my family, but I'm starting to think some distance might be necessary. Alex and I are talking about moving to a new city for his job. Part of me feels guilty for even considering it, but another part feels like it might be the fresh start we need. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing, I'm incredibly grateful for Alex. Through all of this chaos, he's been my rock. He's shown patience, understanding, and strength I never knew he had. Whatever happens with my family, I know we'll face it together. Looking back, I wonder if I should have handled things differently. Maybe I overreacted to Nicole's pregnancy announcement. Maybe I should have put my foot down about Aunt Linda coming to the wedding. But what's done is done, and all I can do now is move forward. I'm trying to focus on the positives. I'm married to an amazing man. Nicole and I have a better understanding of each other now. And who knows, maybe this whole ordeal will lead to some long overdue healing in our family.